Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Dear Wolfie. Dear Wolfie, episode number 3. Who are the best jiu-jitsu guys and grapplers that you have rolled with, trained with? Thank you guys for liking episode number 1, the best MMA fighters that I've trained with. Obviously, I have tons of stories just on those guys alone and tons of other guys I've gone with. And it seems you guys really like the first episode number 2, the first part of Best Grapplers. I said I would continue it. So here we are. And to start with, I said I would start talking about training with Joe Rogan and Eddie Bravo. Everything's out of order here because when I wrote this down, it was like 4:30 in the morning. But before this, I had trained for a year with Saulo Ribeiro and Zanji Ribeiro. We'll get to them in a minute for a year. And then I moved out to California for the second time and went to Legends 10th Planet and started training at 10th Planet. So I spent 2.5 years under that system. Everyone's favorite strip club DJ turned flat earth, call other planet founder. And while there for 2 years, I trained with Joe a lot, quite a bit, rolled with him a lot. Before I went and helped start, it wasn't my financial backing, but got a place that was going to open a school for kids martial arts to also open adult classes that I was teaching and be a 10th Planet affiliate that I was teaching with Eddie recommending me. People don't know that history, and there's a lot more history there, but I will try to stick to merely the technical side of things. So, rolling with Joe. Joe was very, very strong, guys. Very strong guy. I was technically still a blue belt, even though like this was 2009, I think. So I was a 12-year blue belt. Yes, people, training was serious back in the day. They just didn't give them out after a 3-month class in the summer like they do now, all you that suddenly think you know it all. But, so I was technically a blue belt, but obviously better than that. Rolling with Joe. Joe was a brown belt in 10th Planet at the time, and I assume under Machado Jiu-Jitsu as well, brown belt, but I don't know, but I think so. I think it was always in line with each other, basically. And Joe was very strong. And I like Joe. I met Joe first at UFC 37.5. He ran up to me, him and Buffer ran up to me as if I was the famous one because I was infamous on the underground. So this is before, Joe had only worked, I think, one UFC at 12, and this was his first time as a commentator at 37.5. People don't even remember that event. That was Vitor Belfort versus Chuck Liddell. Mostly to put on the first ever fight on free TV, Robbie Lawler versus another friend of mine, and I'm forgetting his name. Can't think of his name right now, but that was actually the first free fight, free cable TV MMA fight, was Robbie Lawler. And that was why they threw last minute together this 37.5 event, which kind of makes up for, I think, 213 that never ever happened. So there you go. Anyway, so Joe came up to me then, and, and then another time I had an issue, and Joe was cool to me at another event in Vegas, 40 or 41, I think it was. With an ex-girlfriend who showed up and assaulted me in a bar, quite frankly. And Joe came over and told me to chill out. So I guess I do owe him for that because I went and I think I hit a wall. Like I had to walk away from her fast because she fucking decked me, and then just because I wouldn't sleep with her at the event because I told her I was already hooking up with someone close to the UFC at the time, a very hot female, mind you. But so yeah, there you go. So I was assaulted, and Joe got me to chill out. So thanks, Joe Rogan. Anyway, back to actually training with him. Joe was always strong and tight and technical and slow. Obviously, his jiu-jitsu is very good. It was always boring, which I think drove Joe nuts because he actually lost it one time. Because at that time, guys, is when I was first really getting ill with lupus, even before I got diagnosed. So I was really, really ill when I fought in the 3rd Kudo World Championships in Japan. I already knew I was really sick, but didn't know what was going on. And I was ridiculously ill when I fought. but I wasn't diagnosed yet. You know, I had people telling me this and that, I was crazy and this and that, and already been in an emergency room, supposedly with a heart attack that wasn't a heart attack, and all kinds of crazy shit. So anyway, at that time, this is before I became more submission aggressive. So at that time, I was still very slow, methodical, position, especially because my energy levels were very bad. And I was often going there after a 12-hour day on set, working background or doing principal acting or doing like stunt doubling Stallone. I did once. I was 218 and I cut to 211 and try slide. They're like, no, Sly's losing weight. This was right after Rambo 5 when he was yoked up and then like he was losing weight all of a sudden. So anyway, I digress. Joe was strong and we basically would reverse each other and spend a lot of time in each other's half guard, scorpion lock, lockdown. So one day Joe lost it. He's like, man, you don't do anything. And I was like, what are you talking about, Joe? We have the exact same game. And he looked at me, he was all pissed off. He's like, fuck your ass. Kind of funny now. Because he tried to call me out and I called him right back. So, we used to roll a lot and then he'd gas out after 10, 15, whatever minutes. Or I think more like get mentally bored that like he'd be in my half guard and then I'd reverse him and I'd be in his half guard. And we both had trouble passing each other's lockdowns because we're both really strong dudes with ridiculously strong legs because we both started in Taekwondo as young and have crazy strong quads and shit. So we couldn't pass each other's lockdown. So anyway, I'm sure the guy's obviously got very good kicks and he's got very good jiu-jitsu. Did ask him to start grappling on the feet with me quite a few times. Always refused. Said, hey, why don't we get together and spar sometime? Always refused. Now I know his neck. I got neck issues, back issues. He had neck issues, etc. I think in the 2 years rolling fairly regular with Joe, if I'm wrong, I don't know. Let me know. I don't think you ever tapped me out, and I think I may have tapped you out only once, but it was the slow, safe, not the dangerous one I talked about earlier, dragon sleeper neck crank when I slowly draw backwards. Just a north-south drag, really, but he did also have neck issues, so there's that. So yeah, there's Joe Rogan. As for the 10th otherworldly zombies of the flatness of Earth, I played with rubber guard. I still do when I go with small guys and make people laugh and stuff. Going crackhead. And, I still like New York for hitting. I always did. Preferably, though, I think that leg hook guard, Sean Williams style, is far superior. You don't need the flexibility. You don't damage your knees and hips like I did and other people under the system. I think the half guard system is not very good for the highest level of competition of jiu-jitsu, but it's obviously I think it's the best system for MMA, so it really should be known more for the half guard system, I think. And how you omoplata on the side is very beneficial. I have videos on that. So, Eddie is, innovative in some ways, probably because he got stoned and watched old pro wrestling matches, and scorpion locks became lockdowns, and wrestlers' guillotines became twisters and whatever, and giving funny names to things, but it is what it is. And rolling with Eddie, then I got a purple belt from Eddie in the system. Then eventually I helped open a school under the system, stuff people don't know about. Probably tapped me 10 or 11 times. I mean, he was my instructor. I didn't roll with any, I was bigger, so I didn't roll with any power or anything. I was trying to learn. And I think I tapped Eddie all of twice. The first time with my special 2-on-2 heel hook. That actually, another 10th Planet, Liz Carmouche tried at EBI. So there's kind of a correlation there, actually. So I got Eddie with my special 2-on-2 heel hook that I learned from, I don't think I even learned it directly from Gokar. I think I learned it in Black Belt magazine from Gokar teaching it, who I was training with a little bit at this time, and even Caro and Manny came in once to 10th Planet, rolled with them, and started training Christmas 2002 time with Gene LeBeau and Gokar. Anyway, this just became really long. I thought guys would be interested in this part. So, Eddie Bravo. Interesting that when I first went to a school, after like a week or so, I gave him my combat jiu-jitsu DVD. Guys, YouTube, I was one of the first instructors on YouTube. Very known for my combat jiu-jitsu, the first 45 short videos I had for eHour Expert Village. Probably got about 17, 18 million total views of those 45 videos nowadays. And was calling my style combat jiu-jitsu. I also gave him my rules printed out of combat jiu-jitsu that I had sent to Mike Swain and given a solo barrel, and was trying to get the positiveness. And it explained very much in the rules how there needs to be something between just sport grappling and full-blown MMA. And that, you know, business people and whatever, and even fighters need that bridging the gap. There needs to be something in between. Now, the rules were very different than his combat jiu-jitsu and EBI. However, kind of interesting if you ask me, that it was about something in between called combat jiu-jitsu. I had rules, I had the DVD, I had all the videos online. Make of that as you will. So, yeah, I guess we're just going to cut this right here. This is Standoff Alone on Joe Rogan and Eddie Bravo. Joe, the last time I saw him was UFC Atlanta, yelling at him in the stands after his event, but I don't think he managed to go to the bathroom for 5 hours of the event. So I don't know if he realized it was me and he was snuffing me, or if he didn't. Joe, it'd be nice if you'd let me know. Because after the fight between Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway, I was explaining that Dustin, I said, Joe Rogan, I'll tap you out. Joe Rogan, I'll tap you out. He looked down. I said, 52 blocks. Now, of course, he makes fun of black guys in parks in New York and isn't open-minded at everything quite like I am. But I was yelling 52. You know, it was skull and crossbones, or it was cross-arm defense. That was the huge thing in that fight that no one commented on. I think Daniel Cormier said he was blocking weird in the third round or something. That was the closest commentators got to calling it. But I tried to say that, and he I don't know, he kind of shook his head and went off. Did he realize it was me? I don't know. Did he really have to go to the bathroom? Probably. I've commentated fights on Fight Pass, Pancrase 270 to 276. You might want to check out. That happens, and it sucks. And, you know, I was up in the stands, so, hey, it is what it is. Sat next to Paul Varlins at that event, old Skriller, who was the first famous guy I danced with after fights out Extreme Challenge in Michigan back in the day. So I hooked back up with Paul Varlins and went through the event. So thanks, Paul. Great seats, and it was a lot of fun. I got so off track in this video. Dustin Poirier versus Holloway was off the hook, and, man, the co-main was off the hook as well. The crowd was going crazy for Adesanya. And, well, anyway, guys, so that's what it was like to train with Joe Rogan Eddie Bravo before I left to, you know, train with Go Christian and Gene the Belmore full-time. So there's my story, and I'll stick to it. Maybe get into more later. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. And now I need to erase another video because I'm running out of data so I can make the whole second part video. And this just became a standalone video. Ask Wolfie number 3. Hope you enjoyed it. Please thumbs up, please share, please subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.